I wanted to do this video mainly as a review for the 100R Silent Edition case, as well as kind of what components, higher end components for gaming that I put in here. So kind of a combination of higher end components in a budget case to see what we could get out of it as far as cooling and if it would really meet all the needs that I wanted to do. Start off, I'll kind of talk a little bit quickly about the design. To fit the 980 Ti hybrid case, I actually had to, or the GPU rather, to get the cooling and everything working well, I had to actually take out the drive bay right here. I've got it back here, but anyway, it's a 4 drive bay, and there just wasn't room for this to keep it all properly cooled. This radiator actually puts out a lot of heat. I had the radiator up here before, but it was on this side of the panel. So anyway, that was taking up too much room, and with the tubes coming here, I just had to, that thing had to go. So essentially in this build, I've got a 6700K i7 overclocked to about 4.6 gigahertz, and stock 980 Ti hybrid. And so one cooler, one radiator right here, 120 millimeter fan, one 120 millimeter case fan right here, two 120s on the radiator for the 980 Ti. So overall, it took me a while to get the cooling down to where I wanted it to be. I'll kind of show you some of the temps a little bit later, but everything's running really cool and quiet. So kind of a few things, a few quirky things with the case. It's kind of nice. You got sound dampening material here on the top, on the side, on both side panels. So part of the reason that I was actually able to take out some of the drive bays here was on the Z170 Asus gaming motherboard I got. It has an M2 solid state slot. So I have my hard drive right there, and then I've just got another solid state running up at the top, and I just am letting it sit there with the where the 5.5 1/4 drive bay would be. As far as the front panel goes, nothing too fancy. Two standard USB 3s, microphone, headphone, power reset. This is actually kind of a little bit of a pain to get off at first. It's got these plastic tabs really just being held on by pressure. So to pop it off, you kind of have to give it a, it's got a little handle on the bottom, you can kind of give it a tug. Kind of be a pain. So to pop it back on is you just kind of pop it all around. That's really all there is to it for the front. One of the main reasons I actually went with this Silent Edition 100R was for the fact that I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. I kind of wanted a minimalistic, unassuming design. Nice brushed metal is what it's supposed to look like, but of course it's plastic. Nothing too crazy on the side panels. Same kind of thing. But the main reason was, like I was saying before, was just the silent operation is what I was going for. So that's why I opted for the 980 Ti. I had an old 560 Ti that was just so noisy. You know, it would be hitting up in the high 80 degrees Celsius when I was running, and it was just spinning like crazy. And so I initially started out with, I'll kind of show you on this back part of the case, the 100R actually comes with a 3-speed fan controller, but when you mount the radiator flush and you use the 120 as an intake, there is actually no room for this to stay mounted in the back part, which was kind of a bummer. So nothing fancy on the water cooler, H55 Corsair, which still maintains the temperatures just fine. Under gaming load and whatever else I put at it, it doesn't usually go past 55 degrees Celsius. We've got the air flowing in through here, obviously the ventilation through here as well. The 980 Ti still has a, that's why they call it the hybrid. It's got this for the main GPU on it, and this for the rest of the motherboard. Or sorry, not the motherboard, the rest of the graphics card itself. So the air comes in through here, and these two are acting as exhausts, so everything just comes in through here and then out the front panel. If I had this as an intake, this radiator creates so much heat when it's under full load that I don't want just all this heat obviously coming through here and then going out the back through this radiator. Whereas this radiator, it actually doesn't create that much heat because it's the CPU, and most games are more GPU intensive than CPU. So coming through, I found a nice airflow, and with this having the airflow on, or the holes on bottom for the power supply, you can just kind of keep this separate and just sucks through and cools itself, so you can kind of throw that out of the equation. Flip it around back here, I'll kind of show you the little bit of cable management it has. So each side is, you know, bumped out a little bit, which gives you a little bit more room to kind of manage your cables, and it's not too tight. So zip ties and wire ties are your friend. So the main thing is you have limited room for your 8-pin CPU power supply, or power connector. So this one comes up, and I kind of manually route it this way, so it comes up and then powers the CPU right here. Around the back, the way they designed this, you know, they kind of stamped it out here so that any expansion slots you put out here, it has the screws right here, rather than other designs that, you know, it's recessed in and the screws are on the inside. So, and I actually kind of like this because it makes it easier for if your computer's in the back and you need to reach around, and kind of it's a little bit easier to see all the ports that you have. So this is where the fan controller would be, right on top, but you see the radiator doesn't let that happen. So overall, it's been a good case with a little bit of tweaking and just a little bit of trial and error. I think I finally got it to where I want it, and I'll show you some of the benchmarks now. Okay, here are some idle temperatures. So we've got the i7 6700K fluctuating around 30 to 40, jumping around 50 for some reason. The max you can see is maybe 60, 57, 57, 54. Utilization right now is around 20, and the GeForce GTX 980Ti is 37 degrees at idle, and since I haven't played any games right now, it's you know, maxing out at 38. So with utilization maybe of 10 to 11%. So let's go up here. I got my controller. Maybe we'll load up some Assassin's Creed. Okay. So I should be recording this in 60 frames a second. The gameplay should be at 60 anyway, if I'm not recording at 60. So I'm hitting utilization. Let me see if I can switch over here. Maybe we'll jump up this. Let me show you the pretty town and how pretty the game this is. I'm playing this on my ultra-wide monitor, 2560 by 1080, and yeah, right now I'm hitting at 98% utilization. Let's switch over here and see if I can kind of see what the temperatures are at. Obviously, the GPU jumped back down to 10%. Temperatures maxed out at 48. It's only for a few minutes. Let's load up the MSI Afterburner so we can kind of see some. We'll run this for a minute, and that'll give us some graphs here as far as frame rates and fan speed. Let's switch back over. Okay. So we'll run around. Maybe we can kill some bad guys here. So MSAA to enable more complex, soften the edges technique. Well, I like film style, so let's try 2 times of that. Maybe I'm going in circles here. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, we got some bad guys here finally. Yeah.
You're going nowhere! You're embarrassing yourself! Ready to fire!
Yeah, that guy's only level 3, not hard to beat. Oh, I didn't get in it. Gosh dang it. Okay, so looking at the temperatures right now, it looks like we've almost leveled off with around 58 degrees on the NPU. Crazy Dragon. Let's take a look over at the other one, and let's look at the max temperatures we got. Max temperatures, CPU ID HW monitor registered at 59 degrees Celsius. It's going to start going down now because the game is paused. 10% utilization, 99% GPU utilization, which is normal. It's to be expected. At certain points, the max CPU did max out at 100. I don't know exactly when that was or if that is consistent. Looks like the temperatures got up a little bit higher than I said before. Got to around 70. I probably could benefit from a push-pull configuration, but that's still not bad. Well within safe ranges. Overall, everything else is looking pretty good. The motherboard doesn't look like it got past 68, 45, 30, 28. Pretty good. There you have it. That about does it for me. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything I did weird, and we'll see you next time.